Beautiful morning, out prospecting, looking for new potential and some old workings. A few days ago we were working up there. A few days before that we were working up along here. Now we're checking out this area of the property. It's supposed to be a small mine somewhere in this area. We're going to check a bunch of these uprooted trees, again like we always do, see if there's any indications of any kind of mineralization. So I don't know if you can see that over there. Giant quartz vein runs all along the whole top. And over here is where we found that mine shaft on the other side. And what it appears to be is your panel of schists is following the same orientation as over there. We're about a kilometer away almost from those points. So you got minor amounts of copper mineralization in quartz, some oxidized schistose rock, but nothing too crazy over here so far. We'll keep looking at the uprooted trees. We have our first small little showing here. Stringers of iron pyrite. Cutting through schists. So very small, very small stringers, but any mineralization presence is always good. So I'm going to take a chip sample here, just catalog it for now. Grab sample here shows sulfides, and we got a bit of visible free mill gold in there. So it's very fine, but definitely confirmed with the jeweler's loupe. So we're going to take this sample and catalog it. So the road up there is about 100 feet up, and the clearing is over there. We've been through this area of newly grown forest about 10 times in the last 5-6 years. Pretty difficult to see when the trees are like this, but today we found it. So this is what I mean when you got to be careful when you're walking through the woods, because this is the mine shaft right here, and the only way I was able to see this was a small little pile which looked like dump material. So this is actually the shaft right here. There's a tree growing out of it. So pretty hard to see. We'll see if we can get a better view of it, move some of the branches away. So we're removing all the dead logs and some shrubs and a couple trees to get a better view, also to make it more safe for anyone who walks through the woods. We're going to flag this with flagging tape, so you can kind of get a better view of the shaft down there. It's about 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters, and I can see a mineralized quartz vein at the back. So most likely what they were following is mineralization in quartz and sulfides in solid masses. There's some decent dump material that I see which is showing promising signs of copper mineralization. Only one tree was harmed while cleaning this shaft. Sorry, but we couldn't help it. First couple samples here. You can see your vuggy quartz with your iron pyrite, the chemical weathering, causing all your mineral to leach out. So lots of promising dump samples here. Looks like there's quite a bit of mineral left here. First sample I hammered. Obviously the primary goal here probably would have been copper, silver, gold, maybe some lead and zinc. Interesting samples. We'll keep poking around, see what else we can find. So you can see by the mine dump, goes all the way to about down there and all the way around behind my prospecting partner. I would estimate this shaft to be a good 40 feet, 45 feet down. Obviously it's water filled. So what we're seeing so far is mostly pyrite and chalcopyrite, and we are also seeing some native elements too. So this might be a little bit difficult to tell, but I'll point the two out. So you can see here this has more of a yellowish tinge to it. This is chalcopyrite, while over here, not so much as yellow, that is iron pyrite. And over here, you have some native elements. You can see the burgundy-ish color there. That's native copper. So just as a single element. But you also have chalcopyrite running with it. So pretty interesting. Mine dump's looking actually pretty promising for some samples that we're finding. So we'll be sending some in for analysis. We're just going to search a bit more, see what else we can find. Loads of vuggy quartz with solid mineral. Couple more interesting things here. You have chalcopyrite and pyrite running with magnetite. Here you have more copper as a native element running with some magnetite and pyrite. A few more samples here. Solid, massive, coarse-grained iron pyrite. Here's a nice one right here. Got some native copper, chalcopyrite, pyrite, bit of magnetite in there. So if you guys want any of these samples, or any of the samples that we pick up, we always pick up extra samples. And anytime we mine out any high-grade ore from anywhere, we have a couple buyers we usually sell to, and they're actually sponsoring this video. So if you guys want any of these samples, I'll leave the link in the description for both companies' eBay store. So any sales that are made within the next 7 days, you'll get 10% off if you use the code 911mining 10%. And also a portion of the sale goes to help us in doing this exploration work. So any sales are appreciated. If you guys want, links are in the description. Another awesome sample, basically a solid mass of sulfides. You have magnetite in there, a little bit of quartz, chalcopyrite, pyrite. So when we send these in for analysis, we usually just send in a piece of this. You don't need to send in an entire massive sample like this. So again, we'll take all this here, but some of the samples will go to those two sellers we distribute to. So if you want them, check them out. Another sample here, again, solid mineral almost. Nice big hunk. Pretty heavy. Got to be about 100 pounds. Okay, so this is a chlorotic schist here, but you also have epidote right there, which is running in your chlorotic schist, quartz vein, magnetite, massive sulfide mixture. Pretty interesting combination. So we're taking 6 samples here. We're taking all these ones here to give to one of our distributors. So we're going to mark out the shaft a bit better, put up some flagging tape, and head on and try and find something else. So you can see a bunch of bull quartz or barren quartz. It's not actually barren, it looks barren. You have minor amounts of iron running with free mill gold. Grade is so low. We tested this last year. I'll see if I can get a quick video of the quartz vein right up in there behind that tree. And there's something like 6 parts per billion gold when we had it tested, which is low, but it is a good indicator for the area. Loads of quartz on this property. So this here is running with granodiorite. Got a change in host rock a little ways back from the regular schists. Again, here you have minor quartz veining just south of that big quartz vein. And the birds won't shut up. So again, virtually barren. We didn't get anything back from the test results here other than a little bit of iron and minor, very minor amounts of copper. So what we're doing is we're at that area where we found massive sulfide showing a couple nights ago. And what we want to do is we want to mark out some of the areas of interest where we've gotten good results back for sampling. So we're just going to mark each one. Sometimes I use stainless nails, sometimes I use screws, so you never lose the spot. So we sampled here that night, but we didn't have a chance to mark anything because it was so dark. I just want to screw it in so people can't come by and take it out, because that's happened tons of times. At least if they take the marker off, you know that the screw's still there. So and then what you can do is you can tie your sample tag on here to reference. So for instance, this was sample number 12 that we took, so you could put a tag on here, something like this, put it through the hole. For this, we're just going to write it on the actual tape. So if we're by a vehicle, then generally we just use a drill, but this is something I always keep in my vest and field kit. Nothing worse than losing the exact location of a sample, especially when it's in zones like this. So this is sample number 14 from the other night that we took. So here's another area of interest. You can see sulfides along here. Nice big sulfide vein running down underneath here. So we're going to mark this and take a sample. And we are right near that massive sulfide showing that we found the other day. You can see massive sulfides going all the way back. So we're going to still work this a little bit and try and get a few more samples out of here just while we're here. So we're going to try and get this big honker off here. We've got massive sulfides exposed right here. Just to the right of that other little showing. So you can see sulfides all along here filling the fractures. And again, sulfides there. So what it's looking like is you have tons and tons of disseminated sulfides actually in your chloritic schists, and then at fracture points you have sulfide veining such as that, and then you'll have the occasional massive pod, the massive sulfides. So you can see more massive sulfides in here. Right there, your sulfides, massive sulfide pod. I got samples here. All which are showing massive sulfides. So I think we have enough for a sample here. So here's a little bit better look at some of those samples we pulled off from that second pod with semi-massive to massive sulfides. So you have chalcopyrite, pyrite, small amounts of magnetite, and that is running with quartz carbonate, chloritic schists, and occasionally a little bit of epidote. You can see some of the copper sulfides in there. Pretty apparent this has some copper value. So again, not bad samples. We will have to wait and see what the analysis has to say for these. The other ones are already sent out, and you've probably already seen them by the time the video is posted. One last piece here. Lots of coarse grain pyrite in this one. Big hunk of pyrite up on top there. So we're going to go check out another showing, which is on the road, and it also bears a similar resemblance to the stuff that you can find in the mine dump at that first shaft. So we'll go take a look at that, pull off a sample from there. So here we have, similar to that last area, massive sulfide pods, but it's also quite a bit similar to the shaft, which is about 1.5 kilometers away. Same kind of host rock in quartz, sulfides. You can see up here, vuggy quartz with sulfides. And the showing runs all the way along here. So you can see all the mineralization running with your quartz. You got some epidote in there, mica schist. Continues on up here. Chalcopyrite and pyrite are your two primary sulfides, but you also have magnetite. Being right there, running with chalcopyrite. This is pyrite. So what we want to do is just pull off one quick sample here from this area as part of our exploration program. Part of it was to revisit the showing here. Maybe we can pull a secondary sample off there. Okay, so we got our sample. So you can see the magnetite, chalcopyrite, pyrite up there. You got solid masses, but you also got disseminations like this in your schist. Some nice looking mineralization here. So you can see the obvious magnetite, chalcopyrite, and your pyrite. So some all around nice samples from here as well. So that's the last sample. If you guys want some of these samples, they'll eventually be listed on the two sellers. Links in the description. Go check them out. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's the last showing we're going to have time for today, so we'll see you guys in the next video.